Hi, this is section 18 of the novel 910 by Nora Raleigh Baskin. We are on the date 9/11, and if you notice our time, it is 8:14 a.m. Eastern Time. If you make reference back to your timeline of events from September 11th, this was exactly the time that United Airlines Boeing 767 Flight 175 left Boston for Los Angeles. So right now in the world of our book, things still seem normal to everyone because we're a good 30 minutes prior to the events that will change everything. We're in Brooklyn, New York, and that means we're with Sergio. An unexcused absence meant detention, but for some reason the principal decided to give Sergio a second chance. Possibly Sergio was still riding the wave of his math award, giving the school a good name. Or maybe it was because everyone deserves a second chance. The principal had called him into her office first thing that morning. But Sergio, next time. She sat across from him behind a desk piled with papers and envelopes, files. Apparently, she had a lot of work to do. Still, she was nice about the whole thing. Next time, I can't cut you any slack. Don't miss school again, Sergio. I don't have to tell you. Showing up already puts you ahead of the rest. Yes, ma'am, Sergio nodded. I won't. I will. I know. Okay, then get to class. And Sergio. She stopped him just as he got to the door of her office. I hope whatever you had to do yesterday without your grandmother's permission was well worth it. I hope it wasn't any kind of trouble. If you're in any kind of trouble, you know you can come and talk to me. I know that, Sergio said. It wasn't trouble, and it had been worth it spending the day with Gideon. Sergio thought about yesterday all the way down the hall. He was even wearing one of the new t-shirts Gideon had bought for him. Gideon had said it was payment for saving the guy's life, and it was the least he could do, and then he offered to take Sergio to lunch. They had sat across from each other in a booth at a diner. Sergio's grandmother hadn't been happy about the call from Gideon's cell phone. She wasn't happy that Sergio had missed school. But whatever Gideon told her must have meant something. When Sergio got on the line, she was calmer. She said she wasn't going to cover for him at school, but she wouldn't punish him either. And he just had to be back home by dinner. I didn't do anything, Sergio said, and I doubt that guy would have died anyway. He probably had a hemorrhage, a bleed in his brain you couldn't see, Gideon said. He might have died. You wouldn't believe some of the things I've seen. Last year we pulled a young girl from a car after an accident up on the West Side Highway. She had lost control and hit a pole and then a wall. Barely any damage to the car or to her. She hit her head in just the wrong way, I guess. She looked like she was sleeping. But she wasn't. She wasn't. Gideon shook his head from side to side slowly as if he was feeling it all over again. Sergio had ordered a chocolate milkshake, Gideon vanilla, and they just talked. Who gets chocolate? I'm guessing your son, the waitress said. She stood at the booth holding up 2 large canisters, both dripping with condensation from cold ice cream inside. Gideon looked at Sergio. He's not my dad, Sergio said. But yeah, the chocolate is mine. Well, you two look alike. She set the shakes down. They did in a way. Maybe in that way that white people think black people all look similar, but then again, they both poured their shakes into their respective glasses and then lifted the metal canisters to their mouths, drinking down the leftovers first. And then again, there was a kind of facial likeness between them, a shade of skin color. Sergio found himself looking at Gideon, watching him, listening. When he looked down at his own hand, he saw his fist clenched like it always was, and he let it unfurl. So let's unpack this for just a moment. We see here that the waitress believes that Sergio is Gideon's son, and she makes a mistake. Sergio corrects her, but it does start Sergio thinking when she says that they both look alike. And in some ways, there were some similarities as he starts to process this. They both decide to drink down their leftovers for their shake first before drinking the shake. There was a facial likeness, so their faces looked similar. And then the shade of their skin color was similar. And for Sergio, this is kind of a unique experience because he's sitting across from an older male role model who is spending time with him and is interested in him. And this is not something he's ever gotten from his father. And we certainly don't ever hear of Sergio having any uncles or extended family. So this is kind of unique for Sergio. And as he's sitting there, something significant happens. Sergio, who's always so full of tension and anger, who always has his fist curled up really tight and clenched, he let it unfurl, which lets us know that maybe for the first time, Sergio is relaxed. Maybe for the first time, Sergio feels heard, feels seen, feels important. Because this person, who's an important person, he's a firefighter, he's a role model, he's heroic. This person thinks Sergio is important. So this is filling a really important hole in Sergio's heart, where usually a dad would help build a young man's confidence. That's what Gideon's doing for him today. Gideon wanted to know about the math award. He seemed interested and impressed. You could do anything, Gideon told him. Anything you want with your life. Maybe I want to be a fireman. Sergio bit into his burger. Fireman, huh? You could do that, Gideon said. I'd be proud to work next to you one day. Or a doctor. Gideon nodded like he didn't think that was strange at all. So, where maybe other people would discourage Sergio, look at what he's telling him. You can do anything you want with your life. He's so encouraging to Sergio, and Sergio is just drinking this in. He absolutely is, absorbing that attention and flourishing with it. So that's a wonderful thing. We have our 3 little dots, which shows a passage of time. So this was all flashback from yesterday. And we are now at school with him at 8:14 in the morning. Now, sitting in class, Sergio looked up at the clock over the door, at the white face, at the black minute hand, which moved unbelievably slowly, until another 60 seconds had gone by. It clicked into its place, locked, and the first school bell rang out. 6 more hours, and he'd be free again for the day. It was 8:44 exactly. And Sergio knew where he would be going right after school. He could look out the window and see Lower Manhattan, the financial district, where he knew Gideon's station house was. So he's planning to go to the fire station after school, right? So apparently that's what he's looking forward to at the end of the day. Gideon had told him to come by anytime to the firehouse. If they weren't on a call, all the guys would be there. Sergio could even hang out. Gideon would introduce him around, show him the station. If it's okay with your grandma, Gideon said. I've always wanted a little brother. Oh, and hey, if it's okay with you. Sergio was already dreaming about it. He barely listened as his teacher droned on about something. For the first time in a long time, he felt a kind of eagerness for the day ahead. So this is kind of ironic and sad in light of what we know is about to happen. 120 seconds clicked by. Flight 11, a commercial airliner carrying 81 passengers and 11 crew members, which had been hijacked shortly after taking off from Boston's Logan International Airport, flew directly into the North Tower at the World Trade Center and exploded. Someone standing at the window started rambling about a dark mushroom of smoke rising from across the river, and the bell, without any awareness of what was going on, rang for first period. So, this is actually interesting because our author, Nora Raleigh Baskin, has talked about this before, and she had mentioned that this experience that Sergio is having, where he can see from his school building what's going on, is based on the students at Stuyvesant High School. These students were in class and watched this horrific event unfold around them. So we're going to take a look at some of the writings from those students and compare it to what it is the author has done here with Sergio. Obviously, this is just the beginning of his part of the story of 9/11. So we're going to stop here for now, and we'll be back for the next section. But please make sure that you update your character chart, because just like we've seen growth and change in Nahid and in Will, we are now seeing it in Sergio, thanks in no small part to Gideon. Have a good day.